You know that feeling when you're researching an international flight and you find a nonstop from your city to your final destination? Well, Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines have partnered up to offer new nonstop routes. Right now, you can skip the layover and fly Seattle to Tokyo, and starting this October, Seattle to Seoul. Get cozy and sleep the flight away in seats that lie flat in the premium cabin. Stay connected with free Starlink high-speed internet, and 10 hours later, you're in Tokyo, ready to hit your first yakitori bar. Book your adventure and earn more miles today at alaskaair.com and hawaiianairlines.com. Welcome to The Leftovers. I'm Rachel Belle. The Leftovers is audio left on the cutting room floor from last week's Your Last Meal interview. And today you'll hear never before heard cuts from Molly Yeh. Molly is the Emmy and James Beard Award nominated star of Girl Meets Farm on the Food Network and best-selling cookbook author. Her brand new cookbook is called Sweet Farm, and it is all desserts.
It was a black sesame babka. I always say if I was a pastry, this would be me because it's Asian and it's Jewish. There is a black and white cookie salad. Cookie salad is an iconic Upper Midwest dessert that I love so much.
That's a little snippet from last week's episode. If you haven't listened, I recommend you go back so you can learn all about cookie salads and how Molly, a Juilliard graduate with a percussion degree, ended up living on a sugar beet farm on the Minnesota-North Dakota border. But if you're all caught up, let's get into the leftovers with Molly Yeh. Molly cooks and bakes all kinds of delicious things, but she has a reputation for baking moist, buttery, beautifully decorated cakes. You bake cakes for everybody's birthday. What would be your perfect, ideal birthday cake?
Pile of cheese fries with a candle in it.
Yes! Are cheese fries a Midwestern thing?
Are they?
I've never seen them out here in
Just
Seattle.
like nacho cheese on a fry?
Oh, is it nacho cheese?
Oh yeah. I mean, this was the food that growing up, going to the figure skating rink and going to the concession stand, my mom would begrudgingly allow me to occasionally have a snack from the concession stand, but never cheese fries. You can have fries. You can have nacho cheese occasionally, but if you put them together, your arteries are going to be clogged instantly. So absolutely never. And so naturally, that's the one food that I gravitate toward and that I let myself have on my birthday.
That's your big rebellion.
That's my big rebellion.
Yes. You have been doing Pizza Friday, I mean, forever, right? Like over a decade, you try to have pizza every Friday, usually homemade. What is your current favorite pizza that you guys have been making? And what is like the weirdest pizza that you tried and you were like, oh, whoa.
Well, okay. So my current favorite is anything with salad on a pizza. I love the cold, hot combination. I love like the crunchy, chewy combination. I love feeling like I'm doing something a little bit good for my body by shoving on more vegetables. And going back to salami, I love a salami chopped salad on a really chewy crust that I could just fold around the salad and eat like a taco.
Yes.
Weirdest pizza was when I tried to convince myself that I could do all of the pizza toppings that I like in a salad, and instead of doing pizza crust, put some quinoa there. I went through this like major health phase around the holidays, and I went way too strong in one direction and thought that I could have like a quinoa bowl with bell peppers and sausage, and it was totally didn't do the job.
What are the tools that someone like you and other professional bakers use that would make life so much easier for home bakers, but maybe they just don't have or don't think about getting?
A digital scale, 100%. It makes everything more accurate. Your results will be more consistent. And also you're going to have less dishes because you're not using measuring cups and you're not having to like look for the specific measuring cup. So many reasons why you should use an electric scale. And I think everyone in this country just needs to rip off the Band-Aid, convert to doing it. It might take a few rough days of baking where you're doing the conversions in your head. But after you get used to it, you're going to be like, why didn't I do this sooner?
So I was looking through your book yesterday and I was looking at the beginning of all the tools that you were recommending. And I have known forever that I should have an oven thermometer,
Hmm.
but I don't. And so I actually bought one last night because I was baking a cake last night.
Nice.
And so
What'd you
thank you.
bake?
I baked, this is so interesting. So I'm on the newsletter of this local woman here who's a forager and has a few
Hmm.
cookbooks. Her name's Ashley Rodriguez.
I
And
love
she,
Ashley
oh, you know
Rodriguez.
Ashley Rodriguez?
I know
Yeah.
Ashley. Yes.
Yeah.
She's
And
so lovely.
she put out a recipe for a foraged nettle cake with a strawberry
Ooh.
sour cream buttercream. And it was the colors is this bright, vibrant green cake with the pink frosting. And you could see in the picture from the slice that it was super moist and dense. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm like, I have to make this. So in Seattle, like there's a park that makes you feel like you're in the forest and they have nettles. So I like foraged my nettles on Sunday night
Oh,
and
cool.
blanched them and squeezed them and all that. And so last night I made the cake, which it tastes like a buttery lemon cake.
Yum.
You don't really taste the nettles once they're baked. And then you use strawberry jam and sour cream in the buttercream.
That sounds amazing. Oh, that sounds
It
so
was
delicious. I'm
really
gonna have to
good.
subscribe to Ashley's that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And I'm proud to announce that my oven is accurate. It was like
Mazel
three
tov.
348 when I set it to 350. That's pretty
That's
good.
impressive. Is it an electric oven?
Gas.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's impressive because I have both. I have an electric and I have gas. The electric oven is like spot on. Whereas most experiences that I've had with gas ovens, they're just all over the place. A thermometer is really important.
Speaking of two ovens, you film your TV show, Girl Meets Farm, in your house, in your kitchen. How do you do that with a family?
When we added on to our house, we purposely did this like barrier. We have a very long pantry. So there's a door into the pantry and a door out of the pantry. And so there's that sound barrier. And on one side of the pantry, there's the set kitchen, which we call it. And then on the other side of the pantry, there's our living room and our personal kitchen. So they can make as much noise as they want, the kids, and we're never going to hear it.
You have a
It's
Narnia pantry.
We have a Narnia pantry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Amazing. You opened a restaurant, which I hear so many people saying, "Oh, I would never open a restaurant. It's so hard. It's so much work." What made you decide to want to open a place?
There was so much about the local cuisine here that I wanted to celebrate. And then I felt like wasn't being celebrated to the best of its ability in our town. And I just wanted to showcase, like the hot dish and the cookie salad. I mean, talk about cookie salad being a great way of using up scraps. Anytime we have leftover cookies at the end of the day in the bakery case, they get brought back to life in our cookie salad. So that's been really fun to do, to like find, those solutions to different problems in a bakery. But I wanted that experience of celebrating this cuisine and this food and having this physical space and like being there and like watching people eat my food is both terrifying and also exciting.
Yeah.
Because until that, it was, if somebody made a recipe from my blog, that's cool. They could post a picture of it or they could tell me about it, but I could never, really be there.
What's your favorite thing on the menu right now?
Um, Ham on a croissant. We call it the piglet. I just love the simple things. And we do mayo on it and a perfect amount of flaky salt. All of our croissants are made in-house, and our baker, Matt, is just a genius with laminated dough. They're heavy croissants. They're not light and airy and dainty and Parisian. They are built for a Midwest winter. So you're getting a lot of butter and a lot of, we use freshly milled flour that Nick grows. So
Wow.
all it needs is some salty meat in the middle.
For your baking, do you use Nick's flour and the sugar that comes from the beets?
I do the freshly milled wheat when it still has all of the parts on it, and it's when it's truly whole grain. You can't use a lot of it. You have to use just a little bit of it, otherwise
Mhm.
it'll make the baked good like too weighed down. But no, when I go to the store and get a sack of sugar, it's from beets. It's not all from Nick's sugar because when the beets and also the wheat get processed, the beets and the wheat get combined with other farms from the area. When we get a sack of sugar, we're like, okay, like maybe this spoonful came from our sugar beets.
A little bit in there.
Yeah,
That's like, I always like to say, there's probably a little dinosaur pee in my water glass. And that makes me so happy.
Is that truly something that you like think about regularly? Because now
Yes.
I'm gonna think about that regularly.
I honestly think about it all the time.
That's the best thing I've heard all day.
And that was Molly Yeh's Leftovers. It's true. I think about the fact that we are potentially drinking microscopic traces of dinosaur pee all the time. At this point, I can't remember if this is a, quote, fact that I made up or if this is an actual fact that somebody told me. But because the water on Earth is the only water that has ever been on Earth and it just cycles around and around and around, that has to mean that there's definitely a little bit of dinosaur pee-pee in the water, at least some of the time. If you're a scientist and this isn't true, I don't want to hear about it. The Leftovers and Your Last Meal are both products of Seattle's Cascade PBS. This episode was mixed and mastered by Sarah Bernard with editing and production assistance from Maliha Syed. Original theme music by Prom Queen. Prom Queen is fronted by the amazing Lainey Ramadan, who is featured in my latest Cascade PBS newsletter. If you're not subscribed, the newsletter comes out every other Wednesday. Newsletters start with a little essay. This week's was about finding the perfect rhubarb pie recipe. And then I do a Q&A about food and restaurants with a local notable person. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while and you always hear me thank Prom Queen at the end of the episode, here's your chance to get to know Lainey Ramadan a little bit better. You can find a link to subscribe to the newsletter in the show notes or find it in the link tree on my Instagram page. Hello, Rachel Belle. And while I'm bossing you around, make sure you're subscribed to Your Last Meal in your podcast app. That way you will never miss an episode of Your Last Meal or The Leftovers. I'm Rachel Belle, and this is The Leftovers.